together. Keep it together forever and ever. Let's get into Madonna and her ex, her fellow silver sister, Jenny Shimizu, who was spilling tea. Now, first of all, I did not know that there was a Disney Plus documentary where people were spilling tea and that Jenny Shimizu was a part of it. I think Tyson Beck was a part of it too, but I haven't even seen it. I didn't even know this thing was happening, but now that I know, I definitely will be watching. So, supermodel Jenny Shimizu was opening up about her past relationship with Madonna, revealing that she was hooking up with the Material Girl and Angelina Jolie at the same time. Yeah, she wasn't acting when she was playing Gia, honey. But let's continue. The model 57 who has offered. Sorry, damn, she's 57. She look good. Has offered rare insight into her relationship with the singer who's 66 in the Disney Plus documentary In Vogue the 90s. Excuse me, which takes a look back at the stars that define an iconic decade in the magazine's history. In the sixth and final episode of the series, Jenny shared that she enjoyed a romance without finance with Madonna at the same time that she was dating Angelina Jolie, admitting that she would fly across Europe for late night liaisons with the star. The actress was married to wife Michelle Harper in 2014. Yeah, she is a strict lesbian. So this wasn't like she dibble dabbling like Madonna and Angelina was. She fully liked the labia minora and the majora. So she added that on one occasion, she flew from Milan to Paris to spend the night with Madonna before jetting back to Italy for her next show. She said, I mean, you are not going to say no to Madonna in the 90s. Well, quiet as it's kept, you ain't going to say no to Madonna in the 2020s, too. Not only was it great feeling like a high class hooker, because it was, I would get a phone call saying, can you meet me at my show in Paris? You're in Europe, right? And I would be like, yeah, I'm just finishing Prada. I'll catch a plane over. And I would go to the Ritz at 4 in the morning and have sex and fly back to Milan. Jenny, who married her wife Michelle Harper in 2014, previously detailed her romance with Madonna in the 2023 memoir, writing that her relationship was driven by a deeper physical connection. I think they meant an emotional connection than physical, because that was the glitch in the Matrix when they was writing this article. She said at the time it wasn't about an emotional bond. It was about taking each other to the heights of. Okay, so I don't know. They said it was driven by a deeper physical connection than physical. That doesn't make sense. But she said at the time it wasn't about an emotional bond. It was about taking each other to the heights of sexual ecstasy. I love the fact that I was in this woman's beck and call. It turned me on being ordered to her room whenever she felt like sex. The fashion star rose to prominence after being approached to model for Calvin Klein, and as well as being the first Asian model to walk for Prada. She was also the first minority model to open the show. At the same time she and Madonna were dating, Jenny also was involved with a romance with her Foxfire co-star, Angelina Jolie. Now, I do remember hearing the story about Jenny and Angelina during the Foxfire era. I do remember hearing that story. I'm glad you reminded me because I forgot. Angelina confirmed their romance herself in a 1997 interview, saying, I fell in love with her the first second I saw her. I would probably have married Jenny if I hadn't married my husband, Johnny Lee Miller, who was in a movie Hackers with her. Shout out to Matthew Lillard, because he was in that movie too. And Renoli Santiago. Yeah, I remember that movie. Now, in the documentary, Jenny also reflected on her own rise to prominence as a fashion star, saying, my wife is going to kill me, but that time was so crazy and fun, and there was something heartfelt about certain moments. Well, yeah, it was the 90s. So, in the 90s, it was popping, the drugs, the partying, everything was just, the drinks was flowing. It was just a lot of, and when you're that young and you got somebody that famous that's just smitten by you, and I think there's something about Jenny that I could definitely see why Madonna was smitten by her. She said, I remember my friends brought me to Times Square and they were like, look, and I had just done a Banana Republic campaign and underneath it said American Beauty. Never in my life had I been described as American or as a beauty. Being Japanese and being gay and walking down the street and being harassed, but for 1 second seeing that campaign, it was such a statement, and I'm grateful to Calvin Klein because he did something that was so positive. The documentary In Vogue, the 90s, is a star-studded look at the fashion industry during the decade. Now, it does speak to former Vogue editors, including Edward Enninful, and celebrities such as Naomi Campbell, who was a supermodel still, actress Gwyneth Paltrow, and Sex and the City star Sarah Jessica Parker. The documentary also showcases rare never-before-seen archives and key figures in the industry and reveal the untold story of the decade's most celebrated pop cultural moments and movements. So I know one thing, I'll definitely be watching this, but I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised by this. And you know what? Madonna has moved on. They also said that other contributors in it, in case y'all are interested, designers Tom Ford, Marc Jacobs, Jean-Paul Gaultier, actress Claire Danes, Amber Valletta, and Tyson Beckford, who are also iconic supermodels, and director Baz Luhrmann and politician, why is Hillary Clinton in there? But they got her in there. Do she got hot sauce on her purse? But while Jenny is married to her wife for what they said 2014, right? So 10 years. Madonna is currently dating Jamaican footballer Akeem Morris, who's 28. So, and they said the pair appeared to have first met in 2022 after appearing on the August 2022 cover issue of Paper Magazine. So, in case y'all do want to watch, the final 3 episodes of In Vogue the 90s will be available to stream on Disney Plus on Friday, September 20th. So, that is definitely something I definitely want to see. And I remember that Madonna and Jenny were very close. Jenny was actually wasn't she in, we talked about this, right? The Girly Show? Where her boobies was all out and they was up there, dancing or whatever. And I could definitely see like in the 90s, Madonna was very much exploring her sexuality. You tend to do that when you're around a lot of the when you're around a lot in New York and just coming to terms with a lot of things that you never really got to explore. And Madonna explored that side. I don't know if she's bisexual. We haven't seen, like, I remember in the 90s she did dibble dabble with women. It wasn't just Jenny, also Ingrid Caceres. We've heard stories about that. I'm not necessarily sure if she dibble dabble with Sandra Bernhard, but they were thick as thieves at one point. So Madonna was always around the gays, not just the men, but the women as well. And that was that's a great time at her young age for her to be exploring whatever. But she probably realized, you know what? It was more of a pansexual type of thing. It could have been just something that she was drawn to this girl physically. And Madonna, when you look at her, the type of women she was going for, they definitely were giving like masculine tea. She likes, masculinity. And she did embody that a lot in her art and some of the outfits she was wearing, when she would embody Marlena Dietrich and all those other things, where she would bring that masculinity into her artwork and her fashions and the music videos and a lot of the art that she was exploring with her music. So I definitely understand that side. And maybe that when she was with Jenny and she was with Ingrid and she was with these other women that she was going in and out of relationships with, that was food for her artistic creativity. And she was just inspired by a lot of these women. And you can tend to be, if you're an empath, you tend to be drawn to different type of people. It's not just about, the sex and all that other stuff. So, child, that was juicy. But I feel like, you know what? You have a right to tell your side and give us a little whatever. But I'll definitely be checking this docu-series out over on Hulu. Funny enough, I do love the fact that this year we've been getting a lot of really interesting docu-series that's breaking down. Like we had the one on Baywatch, we had the one on, Nickelodeon, we had this one about the models. Then there was a docu-series, I think, on Apple TV about the supermodels with Naomi Campbell and Cindy Crawford and a bunch of those. So I do like that. It feels like we're in a nostalgia era where a lot of the stuff that was going on in those days are finally, like, we're getting an inside look into that world that I basically grew up in from the 90s. So I still just say, what do you think of the story? Were y'all just as juiced out as I was reading all that tea to y'all? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below.